and welcome to Knowing Who You Are. It's been a while, but we decided we're going to do it. We're slightly late, but we have a really good reason, and we're not even going to elaborate.
Yeah, slightly late when I talk about slightly late, yeah, half an hour. But the thing is that we are back. As you know, when it was posted initially saying that we are doing the live today for the promo, we mentioned that there had been a bit of a break, and the reason had been personal reasons. And that's one of the issues that had made us kind of being delayed, I think, every now and then, because the whole thing has changed quite a lot. My studio and where we had been doing the broadcasting from, because when you're in a flow, then everything starts falling in place. So anyway, that's out of the way.
But it's good to be back.
It's good to be back.
Nevertheless.
It's good to be back. So there are a lot of things. First of all, we'd like to get that muscle memory back in terms of how people used to interact with us, talk to us, and whenever we had this conversation going, and how people would join the platform and they would share their, as we always mention in Knowing Who You Are, that's it's shared experiences. So what they have been doing, we'd like to start that conversation going and get it going as well. So on that happy note, welcome to Knowing Who You Are, Esther, and this is me, Ershad, people who are watching it for the first time. And I believe today it's been streaming probably mostly among friends. So people who are watching it, they would already know that it's who we are.
Yeah. But it's live on YouTube as well, so anyone else from outside can join as well.
Yeah. Live on YouTube. Well, it's not at the moment because we will upload this one later on.
Okay.
Today
Sorry.
is just at the moment it's Facebook.
The non-technical person here.
Yeah, it is this.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Good. Sorted. Good. Well, we're talking amongst friends then.
Yeah.
So to recap on why Knowing Who You Are originally was established, or why we started doing the lives, the idea was to bring like-minded people into the same zone or same platform or in the same area. Very much like if you seek advice, if you want help with something, who do you go to? You go see a friend. You see someone that you trust. And as such, we've been interviewing a lot of different professionals with a lot of wonderful stories, and they shared their experience and however they overcame their barriers and how they achieved what they achieved. They've been all in the field of helping other people, physical, mental, spiritual. Every single approach to improving life is what we're interested in. And so we had recently we had some really nice interviews with authors, with life coaches. We've got another one coming up very soon. But that's been a real big success. We've had thousands of people download our podcasts in the last few years since we started, and we've got a nice big following. And yeah, as Ershad said, we had to take a little break because we too look after ourselves, and we did. And so we're back, ready to share.
I think let's talk about it. So what's that break about, right? So many people would know, and people especially who are connected to us on Facebook, they would know among friends, families, people around the world, they know that I had been through some sort of a life crisis, to be honest with you. And that started June last year with my father's death. And I had been there in Bangladesh. As you know, it started in June. So June, July, August, when I came back to the UK. But those 3 tumultuous months, to say the least, I had been in Bangladesh. I had to sort out the logistics of after my father was gone, because he was the sole care of my mother, who was also not well, and mentally and physically. And it's been going on for quite some time, for many years. And after he passed away, I had to stay back and take care of the logistics and everything else that needed to be taken care of. So I stayed back, and at the time in Bangladesh, the country had been through a drastic change as well, the change of government, and some people call it the new independence. Well, it is debatable. It's not my version. As I'm saying, some people would say that. So I stayed back 3 months, and when I came back, I almost felt like I have been through so much during that time, and I felt that I'm a changed human being almost. So that was a bit of a detachment from live streaming, from knowing who you are, and all the things we had been doing during this time. Then January came this year. I lost my mother, went back again. So you can imagine what happened during that time when I was in Bangladesh, in August especially. I didn't even have the time to grieve the loss I had been through for my father, then in January for my mother, because of the logistics and everything that I had to go through. Thanks to a lot of my friends and some of the family members who were in Bangladesh, they helped me through a lot of obstacles that, not being a native in the country, not living in Bangladesh at the moment, or for many years, it wouldn't have been easier for me. But they made it easier for me, and it had been a great help. So to overcome that, and I felt that I totally lost that purpose, so to speak, that I had with knowing who you are to start with. And to bring myself back to that position, it took a long time. And I'm still working on it. So that's the idea of any change or any kind of a grieving process and any kind of change, so to speak, what it teaches us. So what did you go through?
I mean, I think
Seeing me in that state.
Yeah, I think one of the most difficult things is when you see someone going through something and you're not the one necessarily able to control everything. I think if anything, while you were handling logistics and doing things day and night, I think my emotion was mostly like a helpless feeling. Like I didn't know what I could do to improve conditions, to make things better, to somehow uplift you so that we could, you could continue, because it wasn't just, oh, it's over and you have to handle it. There was so much more going on. And I think as a partner, you're supposed, the whole point of a relationship is you double in strength. You double the strength that you already are. And instead of, you want to contribute to that, but also not be a distraction at the same time, because you have to be fully focused. And I think this is where you really learn how to be a strong partner to
And
another person.
You have done very well, I would say.
And you have
that,
said that many times, and I
yeah.
have tried, and I do feel that we've prevailed together. But I think I've also thought many times there's going to be a time where I will be going through this, and I know you'll do the same for me. And I was thinking constantly, now, if I was in that position, what would I want to do? What would I want to have happen? And that's sort of the main thing. But what I also learned is that there is a lot of people that, you've got friends and you have family, and it's in those times specifically that you really learn who are your friends, who shows up, who was there to help on the most crazy logistics that need to be handled, who was there, who showed up, basically. There's this lovely thing I read once. It's a real friend is the one who shows up when he would rather be somewhere else. And of course, no one wants to deal with this kind of stuff, but the person that's there, the person that shows up and backs you up, that's a real friend. And I realize how many friends we actually have, which was very special. And I think when you build on that, you can get through horrific things like that. So that's the main thing I went through. But I feel as a partner, the general sort of like, I wish I could do more, and sometimes there just isn't. You can't do anything.
No, I mean, that's also there are a lot of lessons about life in terms of what's valuable, what's not, and in terms of when people, what, as you said, who your friends are, when we call someone family, and who your families are. But I felt that in terms of the changes that I'd been through, that's very important, and what I started valuing more in life.
Definitely.
And that brings me to the idea that living in the present moment. So enjoying the things, definitely, we all have a goal. You want to achieve something, and there's an outcome we look forward to. But we sometimes get so rigid with this one and say, I was on a path, on a journey. Before those losses, I wasn't completely surprised, but taken back by those definite crises that I had to face during that time. When I lost my father in 2024 and then my mother 6 months after in 2025 January. So people who are joining now, welcome to Knowing Who You Are. So we are talking in terms of how to reinvent yourself in life sometimes, and how when the moment of discomfort that you go through, and when you find yourself that nothing is working for you, and when our limbic system, which is the system that alerts us when we feel that there's a change, and the change means uncertainty. Uncertainty makes you fear of the situation, and makes you scared of the situation. And from that fear, what happens? We get into the fight or flight mode. It's very overly used term nowadays. Everywhere, everyone uses that. But that's the part of our nervous system, limbic system, that deals with that. So it revs up that thing inside you that, okay, look, it's discomfort. Discomfort means that something bad is happening. But most of the time, even in researches, it's been found that people going forward at some point, when you look back, you find that's the time of excitement, and that's when you have grown. So it's every few years, it's important that we reinvent ourselves. I mean, sometimes we say, I have certain set of skills, Esther has certain set of skills. So those skills, it's not reinterpretation. Say, I can do music, I'm a musician as well, but I feel like I need to reinvent myself. I'm playing guitar, I'm singing, but I want to reinvent. So how would you reinvent yourself? It's not about, okay, I used to play guitar, now let's play piano. It doesn't really change anything. So how I did in my life back in 2018, I suddenly left everything that I had been doing, and I have chosen the path of discomfort, I would say. And that came with like the certainty in terms of finances, in terms of life choices, life goals, and also the environment I was in. Everything I had to kind of press a pause button and think about going forward. And with those certainty, when I had given up those and went onto the path of uncertainty and started walking there, and it was quite a lot of discomfort because new people, I have left behind a life which was going somewhere. There was mobility, and I was knowing that I was going somewhere. But when I came out of that journey, that process, I felt that I have grown so much, I've learned so much. And sometimes the outcome, we always think that once we reach the outcome, what have we achieved? It's not about that. After the outcome, say for example, I finished my master's recently. The degree, it gives you a title, a paper as well. Sometimes people, so most of the time when we study for something, we feel, okay, you study, you got the degree, now you get the job. I mean, that's where the enjoyment gets killed. But it's more about those journey during the time of study, the people I studied with, and what I have learned studying with them, and also the different situations I encountered, the difficulties and the learning curve and everything. Sometimes I faced a lot of discomfort due to that. But now when I look back and I feel that what it had taught me, and going forward when I try to apply those ideas, not per se what I've learned in the course, but sometimes even the process, how I dealt with it, now I can put that in good use in my own life. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of when we go through a change, and this is how I've grown. So interesting question that comes to my mind because it's a research, and I'll be disclosing to you what this research is about.
Just so you know, before we start the show, he never tells me what it's going to be about.
Yeah, and today's situation
I'm
was...
caught completely off guard. So what you get is a genuine, no idea.
I mean, we had a plan that, okay, we'll discuss a plan and what we're going to talk about. And today it's literally unscripted, you can say. So I'm going to ask Esther a question. It's an interesting one. So have you written love letters to yourself ever?
No. But I did used to write like good wishes for myself.
Okay. Explain.
So I would write, I mean, this is what I did since I was young. I mean, I would write in my diary at the end of the day, I would write, this is what happened today, blah, blah, blah. And I would always say, tomorrow is going to be a great day. You are great, or you're doing wonderful, or this is, you are really good at this,
No, that's...
And I would go to bed going like, yeah, I am actually. And more recently, because we did a whole podcast on the subject of journaling, actually. And then I started keeping a log at the time called my positive affirmation book. And I just wrote in there things that I would like to be or like to have. It's actually more be. It was never to do with having things. It was always the kind of person I would like to be, or the kind of thing I would like to achieve. And if anything, it kept me just excited about creating towards that, because every wish needs to be backed up by an action. You can't just go, wee, it has to be worked on.
So whoever's watching now, the idea is I just asked Esther a question. If she writes love letters to herself. So the research is that if you write for 7 days a compassionate letter to yourself, you'll have the effect for the next 3 months.
Wow.
In a positive way. So if you write, when I talk about writing love letters to yourself, you'll be thinking, what can I write? But say, for example, people who had been in love, who are in love, when you write love letters, I mean, the idea is quite obsolete a little bit, because sometimes who writes these days?
I used to write them to you.
Yeah, that's a sweet thing, and we have done it. Yeah, we still do. But we probably do more on WhatsApp these days, or messaging or text messaging, things like that.
True, yeah.
But writing to yourself, the idea is more about writing, say, 5 good things that you want to write about yourself. It might be harder to write 5 good things. Some people might find 10 good things about themselves they're happy about. Some people might find none, but still there is something. So the idea is to start with even one good thing about yourself that you are proud of, or you feel like that it's a reason to fall in love with. If you see that in someone else, but you are seeing it in yourself, so that's something that you can write about.
Nice.
So if you have to write a love letter to yourself, even for one quality, one good thing, what would you write about?
Oh, I'm not going to say that.
Wow. Why is that? People might think, oh my God, what's that?
It's meant to be a love letter to myself, not on broad public YouTube and Facebook.
No, but it's like something that you're proud of.
I am very proud of reinventing myself 5 years ago, after lockdown, when I changed my career in every possible way, and there was a lot I had to learn about a whole different world, basically, and all the things I've achieved, the certificates I've gotten since, the recognitions that I've gotten since. But I think I would say the one thing would be the decision that I can change my life.
Yeah.
That I think would have been probably out of everything the thing I'm most proud of, that no matter what happened to me or what happens to me, I am still the one in the driver's seat of my life. And having the courage to recognize that I wasn't in a career that I liked anymore, that I wasn't in an environment that I was happy with anymore, and that I could responsibly change everything, and did that. And it took a lot of work, a lot of really owning up to realizing that, when you've done something for a really long time, it's very comfortable to just not change it for the sake of it. but actually changing it and doing it and facing the repercussions
So if in
you know.
one sentence, if you have to say the good quality you would write about in your own love letter to yourself, what would that be?
Dear Esther, you had the courage to change. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, you had the courage
I had
to
the
change.
courage. I had the courage to change.
So you had.
Yeah.
But what about now? Say you have to write now.
Oh.
What would be that?
Well, I would say you had the courage to change, and you always will, because it is never too late to change your mind about something. That's the main thing.
Okay, great. So,
How about you?
I can say a lot of things, to be honest. I feel like it's not to brag about anything, but it's more about that the things I constantly work on. So if I have to write a love letter to myself, I would say that I am getting more and more aware of my good qualities, and when I feel that I'm going through a rough patch, I recognize that too. And we all go through these situations when we feel that, okay, sorry, I'm gonna move the mic a little bit. It's a bit too high.
A bit excited there.
Yeah. So sometimes if we, because sometimes moments come that we feel like life is overwhelming. But during those days, I can still tell myself, yeah, I'm going through this, and stay alert. And then I can pull myself back up. That's one. I look after myself. So that comes from self-compassion and self-love too. Physically, I look after myself. Mentally, I try to nourish myself. I try to constantly improve my knowledge, my wisdom. And I believe in growing myself constantly, because it's one life, and sometimes we feel like, okay, and especially the idea of age as well for some people. They feel that, okay, you are 40. I mean, I've heard this one so much. It's a big number, 40. And what happens? It's midlife, and after this, it's almost like everything's downhill, actually. So there's no reason to enjoy your life. I'm over my 40. I'm in my late 40s. I'll be hitting 50 very soon. But to be honest with you, I feel probably I am the fittest, mentally, physically, both, ever in my life that I had been. And there are times that you can keep on growing. And when they say look into the future, what are you preparing for? Some people would say, oh, that's, you are in the future now, because when you were 20 you were saying that when I'll be 40, when I'll be 50, when I'll be 60. And some might say, yeah, you're already in the future. No, the future is when you are, say, whatever age you are. If you're a younger person, you can always think about, yeah, when I'll get married, when I'll have more responsibility, when I'll be in my midlife, 40, 50, whatever that is, then I'll do this. But it's about reinventing, as I was saying initially, that you keep on reinventing yourself. I have done this a few times in my life. I mean, there is a great book. In this book, there is an idea. I'll mention the book at some point. The idea was that every 18 months, we go through some changes in our lives. But every 5 years, we go through something called life quake. It's almost like a drastic life change when either someone would say had fallen sick, and because of that they have to readjust their lifestyle. They probably have lost their jobs, and someone probably has lost their job, and how they will sustain and how they will support themselves. It's a big change, big life change. For me, say for example, when I lost both my parents, and even though I knew it was coming due to the poor health, and also in life it happens, but still I felt that big change, when it came, it taught me something.
Sorry, I wanted to do a quick break because we got a message here. Hello from Eva, Nikki, Sasha, Caitlin, Jet, and Lily. Hi, guys. Sorry, you were in the middle of a major thing, but
No,
she's
there's fine.
saying
No, I
lots
saw
of
that
love
there's
hairs, and she's saying, we think you guys are the best. We are your fans.
Aw.
That's my sister and
those
her kids.
Halloween wishes.
Their Halloween wishes because we are going out next
Yeah,
week.
hi Eva,
But it was fun.
Georgia, Nikki,
Yeah.
Lily, Jet. He's one of my favorites.
And there's two friends there by the looks of it.
Younger person I know. I mean, I always say that I appreciate when these days, say for example, there are so many other temptations you have in life, and everyone, especially being a young person with that shiny phone in your hand or your iPad or whatever. But at the same time, to be curious about life and to be able to think critically about things, that's an important quality that we are losing, especially with the advent of AI, which has been happening for quite some time. People are also giving that power, that resource we had of thinking, and we are passing it over to AI as well. AI or ChatGPT is doing most of your thinking, and even you're asking all the different questions like, shall I get married to this woman or this man? And ChatGPT would say, I heard someone saying, it's a very interesting thing, it's a psychological thing. They say that it's the triad, they say. When you have the dark triad, when you have these three qualities, narcissistic, Machiavellian, and the last one is, oh god, I forgot the last one. Psychopathic. So
Lovely.
So say for
Lovely
example,
triple threat.
It's like the AI is almost, it's like the dark triad, which is narcissistic. It's like you ask AI something and it always thinks that it's telling you the right thing. Sometimes it gives you wrong data as well, but it still thinks that it's the best, it's giving all the right answers. This is how it's programmed. And the second one is Machiavellian. So to a certain extent, it manipulates you. It wants you to believe in a certain way, and you lose your way of thinking. So that's one of the Machiavellian. And the psychopathic is that it would take some risks and saying things, doing things, because it's already so self-assured that it would take those risks and giving you some wrong numbers and wrong data, and you would believe with the confidence that you see in the AI or the ChatGPT. You feel like, okay, whatever it's saying, it's 100% right, which sometimes it's not. It's still, and it's proven. So say if someone is asking ChatGPT that, do you think I should get married to this woman because she behaved like this? And it might say, oh no, Ershad, you shouldn't, because if she has behaved like that, she's not the right woman for you. So we sometimes, when we think that the ChatGPT or the AI could be the therapist for ourselves, because it can, and people sometimes, I've seen people talking to AI as if it's a human being, but it doesn't have that thinking capability. It doesn't break down the different constituent parts of a thought process. It is programmed. It almost feels like whatever you want to hear, and it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whatever you want to hear, it just probably gives it back to you. Anyway, so in terms of self-love, when I was saying, there's another thing that I feel like practicing a lot, and which I am trying my best to stay. I'm trying to stay in that course of doing or starting a morning routine, because, say for example, where I was coming from, when we look at people, I mean, it was a discussion that I was having with someone, and we say that we like someone, what they're doing, be it it's an influencer or someone amongst your friends or some of your family members, because you shared with me. I mean, I'm gonna say something which is like a secret. Okay, so get ready for that.
I'm used to it.
Because you told me the other day, say you were looking at some people, some younger people, what they're achieving, what they're doing. And I appreciate your honesty. You said that, look, sometimes it makes me feel sad. And I feel something happening inside. It could be a little bit of a tinge of envy as well, isn't it? I mean, we all go through that, because when we see someone is doing so well, either it's physically, oh my god, they look they're so fit, and probably you want to reach that fitness level. Or in terms of, say, finances, look, they're traveling around and spending money and buying very shiny objects and everything that's possible. They're using those, they're having those.
The specific thing that I was looking at is someone who had really done well in a whole art career, and they'd obviously started young. They'd been at it for a long time, and they'd had their own business. They were selling their own art. They had a huge following on social media, and they're probably like half the age of me. And I remember looking at it thinking, I could easily have done that. And I remember saying, sometimes I just feel sad that I didn't. And you actually responded, well, it is not too late.
That's one. And also another important thing is that, are you ready to, whenever you want that thing they have, are you ready to take the whole of it? Because you cannot take just one part of it.
Yeah.
There are certain people, say, when, how I'm maintaining myself, say, I go to the gym, I make a point of going there 5 days a week. I spend at least 1.5 hours minimally and do a lot of things, put myself a lot of difficult situations, I would say. So if someone says that, okay, he looks fit, fine, but then you have to accept that rain or shine, 5 days a week, you have to be at the gym. So 1.5 hours to 2 hours, you do your thing. And how you eat, in terms of my diet, I've cut sugar almost. I do here and there, we do our treats, but barely. So are you okay with cutting sugar altogether, not to taste any sweet or any, there are a lot of lovely objects, and most of the good things in life are a bit sweet, I would say, not bitter, right? So are you ready to do that? And then definitely there's some sacrifices I have to make for other things because of certain things or certain way of life I've chosen. So if you like that way, are you ready to accept that as well? So when we see someone, oh my God, look at his career, because this is how the conversation came up when I was talking to someone. Like someone was following someone's career trajectory and how they were achieving things. And they have achieved things probably within 4 to 5 years. So I'm like, okay, when you see that, that's very inspirational, fine. And even if you feel envious or jealous or inspired by that, you have to remember one thing: what that guy had been through or that woman had been through, and what price they had paid for it.
True.
So when you want that, you have to be ready to want the whole of it. You cannot have a part of it, just that success part. So what kind of sacrifice they had to make in terms of the relations in their family, with their kids, with partner, with and the time they lost, and say the sleep deprivation that you had probably gone through. You're waking up probably having 4.5 hours sleep, 5 hours sleep, and then every time you're cutting down those extra 2 hours of sleep, probably your body needs 3 hours of sleep. And what kind of adverse effect you'll have down the line physically. So are you ready to accept all of those? I mean,
I think another good example that you gave one day was, so Ershad does a lot of practicing. He practices singing, and he keeps that going on a regular basis, even if there's not necessarily a gig next week or anything else like that. And we were at an event one point, and you know, there's a lot of people grabbing the mic, and it was really not amazing, but they're having a good time, so fantastic. And then he got on the stage and just belted out this song. The whole audience went completely bananas. And then afterwards you told me, this is why I continue practicing, is so I can pick up the mic and deliver a professional, performance, and not just like, I need to warm up for half an hour and whatever else. Because it is your personal craft.
And it's raining, the weather is not good, my voice is not working, and things like that,
Hey, we just got a nice message in from David.
Yeah, David is saying, hello Bhaiya and sis, how are you? And also, there's another very valid question. Are you going to start lesson on Bengali made easy for Esther? Because we have been doing some English lessons, English made easy. And especially that was a trip. The first time Esther went to Bangladesh. And she had been stopped by many people on and off. They would like to have a conversation with her because they felt it would help them practice English or the language we value all around the world, even though every language is valuable because English is used, you can use it all around the world. So
But it was a lot because people were either about to move country or they were going to abroad to study. That was actually the main thing, is kids, like young guys who were
but
about
also
to leave.
interestingly, you have said that, but in Asia, I would say, whether you can speak English or not, that's how sometimes people judge whether you are educated or not.
Interesting.
That's very interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
In many parts of the world, very highly educated people cannot speak English properly, but they're highly educated engineers. They're inventing things, and they don't, and their pronunciation sometimes they pronounce word in a wrong way. I mean, I had one of my neuroscience professors, amazing woman, Italian, and many times many students, native students, they would say that, oh, we don't understand when she talks, but the thing is the knowledge she has.
True.
And any question you would ask her, and she would know the human brain, and she knows the human brain so well. Any questions I had, and she would explain it to me so well. And to everyone who ever asked the question. So sometimes it's immaterial in terms of how good you can speak or not.
Very
but
true,
okay,
yeah.
that's a different thing.
But yeah, so we started lessons with the basics of English, and how better than to start with the grammar. And we've we're starting to repost all of these because there's been a great request for those. And we'll be doing more, I'm sure.
And at that point, David, who is in England and he watches our shows quite regularly, he was saying that, yeah, we should start one for Esther because our channel is called English Made Easy.
Yeah.
So he said Bengali Made Easy for Esther. So that's the reference, and that's also the context. So yeah, we are planning because Esther learns every now and then, but then she forgets again. Yeah. I don't know how to cure that problem. I used to tell her, focus more. Say, when you are using, or keep on using more. Well, she ended up learning some bad words. Some of the, say, swear words, and some very, But
Which will not be
I
repeated.
don't know. I have to probably do some kind of coaching with her, sit down and find out why those words she remembers so well, even though she doesn't use them at all.
No, I don't.
But how come the other part of Bengali or other things? Because I tried to teach her, look, this is nak, chok, matha, like things, throat and things like that. And she learned.
Well, nak, I never forgot.
Yeah, nak, you remember that. Thank you, David. So we are trying. The thing is that we started a little bit late today because we picked up the live stream again. We decided we have to start doing everything that we had been doing. The English lessons, many of them, we had a separate YouTube channel, but now all the English channels all the English lessons can be found on the YouTube channel Knowing Who You Are. So
yeah, we started a new, like, we used to do everything on his personal YouTube channel and Facebook. Then at the end of last year, I restarted all the channels across the board. So we merged all of them in one. So it's all in one place. It's all on Knowing Who You Are, and that's been really good because it's all available in one place. It's not confusing. So all of our social media accounts are all under the same thing. And it's been really nice seeing the trend. I mean, we've had a lot of interaction on there. I just only wish I could do this full time.
So since we're talking about it, David, do you have a favorite lesson episode that you like, or any lessons that resonated with you and you felt that, oh, that's been useful? Or do you have any ideas about new lessons that I should be doing or we should be doing? Or because I have to write those lessons, I have to prepare those slides and everything. So based on that idea that you feel, okay, let's talk about that. If you talk about that, that might be useful for people normally who encounter a certain kind of difficulty in daily lives, and they face that, okay, that English concept or that language concept could have been explained to us in a plain language so we could understand better. I mean, do you have any suggestion you can share with me? And also, David, there's another question I asked Esther earlier, because it's based on a research that if you write a compassionate letter to yourself for 7 days in a row, you'll have the positive effect of that for the next 3 months. So I asked Esther that if she had ever written love letter to herself, or well, is she prepared to write a love letter to herself? Because I'm sure, David, you are happily married and it looks like it's not arranged, and you probably you guys had been in love, you were still in love, but that's
it's very visible on the TikTok.
Your
it's
marriage
super fun.
probably, your TikTok channel
so
with
fun.
your wife and what you do, that's really fun, and I'm a big fan. We both are a big fans. So you have definitely written love letters, or if you're not from the generation, you probably had probably written an email or texted or sent WhatsApp messages to your wife. Now your wife probably had been your lover at some point. But would you write a love letter to yourself? What's your answer?
And also we've got Sunny who's watching all the way from Bangladesh, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we got a few more people. We've had people going in and out. And earlier on, when my sister called in or texted in, she said that when we called out the names of the kids, they all gave a big cheer. So that was fun.
David, one thing, I mean, I always say that since you're there interacting, and probably because you're a busy person yourself, would you like to give us a call? The number is there, is 07402 793 762. If you want to, yeah. So 07402 793 762. The number, Esther is trying to pin it probably, or we can write it again.
Working. Go
Yeah.
07.
This will be more streamlined. The number I'll have a card.
This is us coming back.
Yeah. So this card would be there. You can, it will be on the screen, so it'll be easier to remember. But it's 07402 793 762. Since you're UK,
Say it again.
you can
0740
02 793 762.
Super.
So you can call us on WhatsApp, or you can call us even directly on the phone. Either would work.
Oh, he's at work. He's at work still.
Oh, you're at work. Okay, sorry about that.
But thank you for taking a second to say hello.
I appreciate that you have taken the time, and hope you have good rest of the work day you still have. I mean, it's a Saturday, as I was saying, busy person, because it's a Saturday and he's at work. And well, it doesn't matter really. The idea of weekday, weekend, you're not supposed to work. It doesn't really.
No, it's true. I mean, it's actually rare that we're both off today, because the amount of time we have an overlap in work, and we've just decided, whenever we have a day off together, even if it's on a Tuesday, we just call it our Sunday. Like we sleep in, we have a nice breakfast, and we go for a walk. We do all those things, because that's actually. It doesn't matter. It's what you call it. It's what you decide.
David, you take care too. Thanks for joining in. And David's favorite lesson, he said that the English lesson, you can watch that on Knowing Who You Are on YouTube. And I would say, since I'm talking about the lesson, on that note, since you're watching the live stream as well, people, whoever is watching, please like and subscribe the channel. I always say the ever mysterious algorithm gods, they like more likes and more interaction, subscription, so they can start spreading the message to a wider audience.
Yeah.
And we are doing it for free. There's nothing. I always say that I have never been counting numbers, but again, you need numbers. So the message you want to, because if I'm creating it for free, I have an idea, like it's some kind of service to people, to help people, to help a wider section of the community, of the society. It has to reach to more people, I think, and that's one of the reasons why we create that. So if you like and subscribe, that would help us definitely, immensely, I would say. So, love letter idea, David, he responded, he said, I think yes, writing something positive will help, will have an impact in my life too. Yeah. So the idea is, you don't have to write like 10 things, just find one good thing. And I was asking Esther, and Esther was saying that she has the courage to go through change. And that brings me to this idea about change, which I was talking earlier initially.
Yeah.
Because the idea of a goal, it's a very interesting definition. Intention without attachment. So your goal, you definitely want to achieve something, you want an outcome, but you don't have any attachment to the outcome. So that brings me to that idea of something in sailing they call rum line. So rum line is like a Euclidean line for navigation back in the olden days. They would say from A to B, I will go through, because what it does, say, if you look at the world, the meridian lines are there. So when that line crosses or passes through those lines, every meridian, it has the same angle.
Okay.
So it's almost like a straight line. So when in navigation, you follow the rum line, the thing is that you know yourself, even a navigator himself or a person who's sailing, that you won't be able to maintain that line.
Okay.
Right? So you have, say, a goal of achieving something. So this is your present condition. Now you are this, but you want to become that. B. That's your rum line, straight, going straight like this. But when you start, you might go here a little bit, move there, go up, there, and then you come here. So it's never a straight line. So that's the process. So that's the idea of goal is an intention without attachment. Like, this is what I want to achieve, and this has to be like this. You can't stay there.
Yeah.
You cannot stay that course so long you achieve that.
Yeah.
And also the interesting thing is that the achievement, every time we feel that this is what I want to achieve, and this is why when people retire, you find that if you tell someone you have retired, you don't have to work, you won't do anything, people get bored within a week, out of their mind. So the important thing, and many times it happens with Olympic gold medalists, you're thinking, I want to win that gold medal. Once they win, many people go through depression. Because the main idea, so anytime you want to achieve something in life, don't get yourself hung up about that outcome. You get that, fine. But trust me, the growth comes from this process of, lot of different trajectories.
Definitely,
Not going
yeah.
straight line, going stopped, obstacle, wait, pause, then start again. But you're getting closer to your goal every time, hopefully, if you're moving forward. But the thing is that this is a beautiful idea, and this is what I was talking about. When a change comes in your life, because that's like reinventing yourself. I've done it myself. I studied law, I got my degree, and I got my license to practice and everything. I've done a bit of practice. And then I realized it's not probably for me. I had to reinvent myself. Since I was a musician, I studied music technology. I did my second bachelor's. Then I did my master's. I went to another university to do coding and music computing, things like that, which was Queen Mary, by the way, in London. But I finally landed for my master's in Goldsmiths, which I finished in neuroscience. But this is a big jump from law to neuroscience. Many people ask me about this, but I reinvented myself, because you have to ask that questions. That sometimes we feel like I invested so much time, everything I have done, I have to stay. But to reinvent yourself, sometimes you need to set different goals, and those different goals are always, it brings some kind of change in your life, and change means discomfort. And then your body reacts to it, thinking that you're unhappy because you are not feeling comfortable. But further down the line, when you go ahead and you look back, and you find yourself that those discomfort, what you thought at that point, discomfort or unhappiness, those are the times of growth. Those changes that help you to reinvent yourself mentally, physically as well, and your whole life changed. You are probably a better person. So it's always when we feel like, okay, I need that degree. It's not about the degree. To achieve that degree, this is why people ask, okay, have you done masters, have you done PhD? But it's more to do with someone who had been through the process of doing a master's research project, a PhD research, and writing the doctoral thesis, and the experiments and the research you have done, how you have grown. So you're definitely not like someone else next door. because what you had been through, that person hasn't. And that's what, increases your value. So it's not about the degree. Just every time we think, okay, I need a degree. That's why many people have the degree, but they don't have the jobs they want to, because it's not about the degree they're looking for, because it doesn't grow you as a human being. If you are just intentional, you don't have that detachment with your intention. You feel like, I just need that piece of paper. You need to grow through the process. You come out of that, you have the piece of paper in your hand, but everyone wants to see what that process had, how it has changed you, what you have become. It's a long-winded.
No, it is, but it also really highlights the fact that you going down a certain trajectory, and as you go through it, you also change. And it also might be that you end up going in an entirely different direction because you found while going through that change, there is actually something greater to be done or greater to be achieved, or you've been doing your masters, but while you've been doing your masters, you've been doing the podcast, you serve in the Royal Navy. It's like you've looked at all different facets of life to see, how else can you use these different
and
knowledges.
finally, this is my second master's, and some people make fun of me because my first master's was in law, and I started another master's that was music computing, which I've done for a year, but finally I finished with neuroscience, and now.
But that's all part of it. It's all part of that trajectory that just you went in a certain way. In the end, what is the core purpose that you were following is you want to help people, you want to improve situations and conditions, you want to make life better, and you want to give people greater opportunities for self-improvement. And you've always had that as a main thing. So have I. And that goal of helping other people has led me through the events industry, working with community centers, like all the different. I now view everything I've ever done as something that was meant to get me to this point. Because I think if you look back and just feel nothing but regret, and I shouldn't have done this, I should have done, it eats you alive. Spiritually. You can't move forward because you're constantly looking back. And I think that's one of the main lessons I've learned over our years doing the podcast and the interviews that we've done with different people, that they've gone through that path to get to that specific point, and a whole new world opened up. You know?
That's the thing, because in Knowing Who You Are, I have started talking about the brain, mind, and since it's a wellness podcast, we have started discussing about, because your productivity is totally related to definitely your physiology, your mindset, how your brain works, how you can help or you condition your brain or your mind in a certain way that would get you ready, so to speak, for the goals or the intentions you have for your life. So I thought that I need to know about this one better, and neuroscience would help me because I would be studying about the brain and the process in the brain and different localization and where things are and which part of the brain works for what. So and that helped me go through but that process had grown me further. I wanted to know more, but at the same time, totally unrelated things. Say, I have written part of my research project when we were on holiday in France, in Annecy. So Esther was going to the lake with her family, and she's spending all day in the swimming pool. I couldn't join her. I pushed my table in the studio flat we were staying, just overlooking the lake. I pushed my table where I was sitting with my laptop and typing away, writing and doing my analysis and things like that for my research project, because it was 10,000 words thesis that I had told the dissertation I was supposed to write for my research. And I was writing about that, and for 4 or 5 days I made a point. I told everyone, so please don't be offended that I won't be there, because and they had been very helpful. Everyone, your parents, you, your family, everyone understood that, and I had done that. But that process also taught me something. It's not about writing, it's not depriving myself, which is discomfort I was talking about, but I have grown to learn that when I have an intention, when I push myself, when I have a deadline, I work better. and I can. And when I have a lot of time, sometimes I keep on procrastinating.
Easily
So
done.
these are the things you learn. The process teaches something about yourself, right? So anyway, so that brings me to another idea, because I was talking about the morning routine. Because we get very hung up about these things, and nowadays the self-help industry, everyone is talking about, any podcast, everyone is talking about certain words, certain things, whether they have the credentials to talk about this or not, but they do. So they give you like 10 ideas. So the thing is, when you look at that, we feel most of the time, oh my god, they're doing these 10 things in their lives. You have to think, do you have the time or the luxury or the, I would say, the financial capability to go through all the things, all the rituals they follow? They probably are doing a 2 hour long morning routine. They can afford to spend that time. Probably you don't, I can't probably. Definitely, we have to wake up and certain time in the morning we have to go to work. So how do you do that? Simple. Just follow one good thing that you feel like it aligns with your life routine and the thing you can do. Try to do that. Say you want to, this is the common one, you want to start working out. Do half an hour of workout, at least if you can. Then, or something, some kind of, say you wake up. What I do, for me, I try to keep my phone away. I've been practicing it. Doesn't happen all the time, because I have this OCD kind of behavior that I have of cleaning my mailboxes when I wake up, right? My email box. I mean, I don't know how many other people do the same thing. This is why I pick up my phone, the first thing. But I'm trying to leave the phone, get out of bed, and go to the kitchen, get myself like 3 glasses of lukewarm water that I would drink. It helps me. Helps me in a sense that you hydrate your body. This is one thing. And when you wake up, when you're younger, it's easier. When you older, people might know that your joints, they keep on, doing some kind of rebellion and saying that we don't want to
do what they used to do.
Yeah. So it's important that you move around, a little bit of walking with that glass in your hand. Then after that, this is another interesting thing that many people straight away, with Esther used to do as well, start making coffee. But it's a research, and it's true that the circadian rhythm in our body, like how we operate when we go to sleep, how we get up. So when we wake up, the cortisol level, the stress hormone in our body, it goes higher and stays like this for at least an hour after you wake up. So what you do, if you keep on putting coffee on top of that, the caffeine, there would be certain effects that you might have. One thing is that you might start feeling jittery because or anxious, because you already have stress level higher at that point, because that's what had waken you up. And then you're putting coffee on top, caffeine. That's one thing. Or your body might get used to it. So that coffee wouldn't be enough, because you already have cortisol level high and you're putting more coffee, caffeine, that's keeping you awake. And there is a point your body learns that, then you need more coffee. And that's why you have coffee that's artificially keeping you very high. So midday, when it comes, some people feel literally like it's totally drained. You
I
feel
used to
weak.
be like that.
Yeah.
I used to be like that. I
So-
needed it to
So
keep
in the
going.
morning when you offer me coffees,
Yeah.
most of the time I that's not the first thing to do.
No.
You
So I
wake
started offering him hot water, then a coffee.
So, but still, after waking up, yeah, by the time you offer me coffee, because I wake up a
Yeah.
little earlier than you
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah.
And then by the time it's an hour, and then if she gives me a cup of coffee, it works. But I normally have another black coffee, which helps me for my workout. I go take it to the gym, or before the gym I have it. So why I was talking about this routine, the morning routine, whatever small things you can do which is beneficial for your health, do those things. Say having probably a half an hour rest any time of the day, whenever you can. This is why some of the countries, they have the siesta. Right? But if you can do it in the evening, during that time you totally detach yourself from your phone, from anything else. If you are a reader, you like to read, you can read a book probably. I try to say I engage with my instrument. I play guitar, I sing, I practice. This is totally my moment when I'm not, it's just me, the musical instrument. Then I do read as well. It can happen in the morning if I am not working on that day, or it can be in the evening or anytime during the day, even at work sometimes when I have my lunch break or something. I open my iPad, I sit down, I read something, I work on something because I'm also in the middle of qualifying as a professional coach. So that's something, some other work I have to do related to that. So I do a lot of studies regarding that.
I used to very often at night think I don't have enough time. I've come back from work, I'm home, I've now eaten, and I remember thinking this is just no way I can get around this. I will just never have more time. I'll have to be late, but that doesn't work. So what I started doing about 5 months ago, I think it was, I just get up an hour earlier every day. And instead of getting up at a certain time and get ready for work, I get up a whole hour before. I do my hot water and my coffee, or just my coffee, depending. And I sit at my desk and I read. And I write, or I do some art, or I study some of my online courses. I just do something just for me. And I find that doing that, you set yourself up in a calm and peaceful way. And ever since that time, work for me is just like, by the time I arrive at work, I'm already in my zone. I'm already in my zen. I'm already in my everything. And you don't arrive out of bed, phone, coffee. Like you know, I used to be like that. And then you arrive at work like, you know, the world is about to collapse. And then one bad thing happens and you're out, you know. Whereas now it's just like, no, I'm in control. It's good. And I realize I have more time, and the result is that we just go to bed a little earlier at night.
This is why it's important that starting slow in the morning, because your brain, it has like, just woken up. Yeah. You need to give it time to. And this is the stress if we keep on putting to our brain when it's not ready, with multiple things like all the news and
bad
this,
news
that,
on the mobile,
and then
terrible TikTok.
You are ingesting something on top to increase your stress level. So that won't help. So a few takeaway, I mean, if we take away a few ideas from this show today, I was talking about the idea of change. How the change is the process, even when we feel some kind of discomfort, any kind of change, because there's uncertainty involved. When you go through, you chose some path, and some changes come, even inadvertently, that you haven't chosen it for yourself. You would find yourself being discomfort, I mean, in a state of discomfort, but that's the process, and that's the process of growth as well. Because on the other side, when we go forward, as I was saying, I mean, I've mentioned a lot of different ideas, people who'd like to watch it, because otherwise I'll be repeating myself. There are a lot of research, as I mentioned, here and there. So that's one thing. The idea of goal is intention without any attachment. Like, you believe in the process.
I like that.
Just the process is the main thing, what your goal should be about. Because you achieve something, but we always give ourselves, you have to give yourself a point B to point A. But how you get to point B, that's where you grow. That's one idea. Then we are talking about some healthy practices in terms of what we can do when we wake up. That's one. Then I talked about the healthy practices, say what I was saying, hydration, moving. And do you know about red light therapy? So this is something I wanted to just quickly touch upon, because the natural red light that you get, it's basically a low level wavelength, which is you get through red light, and also it's called near infrared. So light, and which is near NIL.
Okay.
Yeah, near infrared light, and that's typically, the measurement is for that 600 to 900 nanometer. It's sold. Okay. It's a measurement unit, nanometer.
And where is that light from?
So a nanometer is a billionth of a meter.
No, but where does one get that kind
Either
of light?
you can buy it artificially. I've seen there are companies you can. There are some renowned companies you found. I don't want to promote them here, but probably the cheapest I've seen starts from like 350, 300 pounds.
Oh my god.
Very expensive, but it used to be even more expensive. But you don't have to spend a single penny. The natural red light you can get for yourself is the sun. And in the morning, this is so morning routine when I was talking about,
Right.
when you wake up, if you have that luxury that you can go out a little bit, even take the sunlight for 10 to 15 minutes. Your eyes, sometimes you look at the sun, if rather than, hurting your eyes, you can wear even glasses or something. But what this red light does, which is between the unit I was talking about, the 600 to 900. So 600 where it starts, the red light, to then it goes to near infralight, which is 900, 850 to 900 nanometer. So that measurement, that red light, what it helps basically, it stimulates your mitochondria. A mitochondria is we call it the energy factory for your cell. So that's where, and also for your skin. And there's some other benefits, probably skin health, and also it reduces inflammation, pain relief. So even for athletes, they use red light therapy, which is professional beds where they lie down to their joints. They have handheld devices and things like that.
Imagine.
So, and then if you can have a 30-minute break any time of the day, just do nothing much. Just lie down, rest, read a book. Don't give multiple things to think about to your brain.
It makes sense. Like whenever I'm working and I have my break, I always want to go out. Not to do anything specific, but just to go out. And I used to think it was for fresh air, but it's not really that either. But that makes sense because you've been in the sunlight. For up to about half an hour at least. I'll go for a walk. I'll go look at things. You do feel better. You feel rejuvenated.
Yeah.
That's
why, because it would help your circadian rhythm, and also in terms of when the time comes, melatonin. So red light therapy, people who can do it at home, as I was saying, it's a bit of an investment, but if you can sit in front of that red light, and it has to be in that measurement between 600 to 900 nanometer. So that had to be that wavelength of that light that emanating from the device. You're sitting in front of it 6-inch to 12-inch, like a 12-inch, which is a feet or foot away, and you're sitting there, and you take it for 10 to 15 minutes. What it does, it also circulates in terms of your circadian rhythm and melatonin, your sleep regulations and everything that gets helped. And I'm planning to get one for our house.
Okay.
Let's see. So we'll get the benefit of that.
Until that time, we'll go for a walk in the sun.
Yeah. The days you haven't been able to do that. We have a plan of if the sun is still out.
We were
probably
going to go out for a walk, and that's not happening anymore. Well, it is.
It's going to be probably no sun.
It's going to be in the moon.
And then another one, having a day in a week when you're not really doing anything. You're just taking a totally downtime day.
That's
we
hard.
do it every now and then.
We do it, but we do have to do it consciously. You have to tomorrow is going to be a no plan, no activities, nothing. And it's hard because you want to use the time to read. Like, you have to really
definitely you have a day, because I used to feel like you cannot have any moment of the day
where you're not productive.
Any day of the week that you cannot be productive.
Yeah,
you have to keep on creating, doing
Very
something.
true.
And I started, and especially again going back to my losses in how I lost my father in June, then my mom in January. What it taught me about the value of having a downtime, thinking about yourself, spending time with yourself and by yourself, and giving or listen to yourself sometimes, what your body needs, and give it that resting period as well. So there are days in a week that I would do. It's hard sometimes because I feel like I should do that, and at least I should go to the gym.
Yeah.
So those days, even for me, that's the hardest one, when I'm not working, and then I have a down day, and I'm not, I always think like, how about going to the gym for an hour?
Yeah.
But there are days that then I tell myself, no, it's the day you're resting, you're probably reading, relaxing in bed. You wake up, you spend time with Esther, she's home, and we are cooking breakfast together. We're sitting down. We watch something while we are having, I mean, we do something that's totally not in our routine
No, it's true.
on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So we probably at 11 o'clock, we're in the morning, we sit down because that's when I have my first meal. So then have breakfast, watch something on television. It's a movie or series or whatever we're watching. And we then after that, we
get ready, we'll go
we
for
get
a
ready, we
walk.
go for a walk.
We'll sit down for a coffee somewhere
Yeah.
for 2 hours and just chat.
We just walk around,
It's nice.
sit
No
somewhere
phones.
after coffee, or
Yeah.
sometimes from shops to shops, just
Yeah.
doing things that is not we get to do, is something that we don't get to do regularly. But this is like a down day, so it's a nourishment for your brain, and it gets you ready for the week ahead.
Yeah, true.
So it's very important to have that kind of a day or 30 minutes in a day when you totally have a downtime, you're not doing anything.
But like we also said, there is, and we also understand that it isn't always possible, which is why you have to make time for yourself at a time when you can. Like, and in my case, I could not figure out how to do anything. I had a few hours at night, and that was it. And getting up an hour earlier every single day was a complete game changer, because we ended up going to bed a little earlier, which meant we're actually better rested, because if you go to sleep before midnight or whatever, you do feel better than going to bed at 1 o'clock and then sleep till 8 or whatever. You do need more than 7.5 hours sleep, and that's just the way it is. And for me, it's been a game changer doing that. And that, even though I don't have a whole day, I have that hour, and it is my hour. And it's been great. It's been super helpful, and it's allowed me to also get back onto working on the channel, getting all the graphics done, because obviously that takes time.
No, on that note,
really
I mean,
good.
probably we'll wrap it up now. And as I was saying, that this is after a few months break, and we have started, everything will be streamlined more, the phone numbers and everything, and starting the streaming on time, because so I don't have to figure it out at the last minute.
No.
So everything will be there. We'll have more conversation as we used to do through your comments and how you're interacting, whether you're making a phone call, and how you're giving ideas. As I always say, it's a platform where we share our experiences. I mean, not everyone is a specialist. I don't know about everything, even though I keep on learning new things to try to grow myself and my knowledge as well. But it's not possible. We're one. I'm just a human. I'm not a machine. So something
I
don't know.
We learn a lot from our listeners, and some listeners, like we've had mums who called in, mums who've brought up children, and then the way they do that and how they do that, it is such an interesting thing, because it applies to any human being and how you treat them, and it's been invaluable. Every single one of our listeners and contributors have always been invaluable. So, which is why it's so fun to do this, and why it's so great to be back.
Yeah. So on that happy note, definitely the plan is we'll make time. It's not a set date, because for Esther and I to have a day off together, it's very hard.
It's tricky.
So next week at some point we'll let you know beforehand when we are coming next week. I mean, we'd like to make a regular thing at a regular point, so people can schedule themselves, so they can join in. I know many people enjoy talking, like David, how he joined, and these are inspiration, our support as well. So on that happy note, let's keep the conversation going, and also we try to bring new ideas, health tips, something that would be good for your well-being, physical, mental, in every possible way that would help you in your life. I mean, which has helped us, which is helping us constantly. Things like that we'd like to share with you in Knowing Who You Are. So that's what the live stream is all about. We can have some fun even. I mean, when you share your stories and the things you have done, we learn from you in every possible way. Trust me, good times, bad times, good things, bad things, everything in life, there is a lesson there. So let's improve ourselves that way, and let's learn from each other. So on that happy note, everyone, have a good rest of the evening, good rest of the night. If someone is watching us from Bangladesh, say for example, or any part of the world, there will be night somewhere, there might be morning somewhere. So have a good rest of your time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Take care. Bye.